New Biz Startup Summit and Awards 2023. Nomination from 7 provinces. Connecting with 2,000 plus startup participants. Awards categories more than 4. Powered by Sostwadeal.com. Banking partner Lakshmi Bank. General Insurance partner Shikhar Insurance. Technology partner Rigo Technologies. Remittance partner City Express Money Transfer. Driven by Nexon EV Max. Community partner Nepali Patro. Internet partner Dish Home FiberNet. Supported by National Life Insurance, Nepal Rashtra Bank, Citizen Life Insurance, FNCCI, Nepal Insurance Authority, Alpha Plus Ventures. Organized by New Business Age.
Ladies and gentlemen, I love these events. The Nepali business community is really a small community and a tight-knit community where people support each other. I'll give you an example. On Friday last week, I was at a party. And to show just how small this world is, I was sitting at a table at dinner and I was sitting next to the IMF chief for the country, and we were solving the problems of the world, the macro economy. And this man sits down next to me. I could see him out of the corner of my eye. He puts down his plate of food. In the end, that conversation finished. I turned round and the man said, "Hello," and he introduced himself, but I didn't quite hear him. He had quite a soft voice and there was noise. And I said, "Yes, I'm from Dolma Impact Fund." And he said, "That's funny." He said, "Next Friday, somebody from Dolma Impact Fund is speaking at my event." And I said, "Who is that?" He said, "A man called Tim." I said, "I'm Tim." That man was Madan Lamsal. And by the way, the conversation we had was much more interesting than solving the world's macroeconomic problems. So I tore up my speech today after hearing Amun Tapa. And I decided to talk about my journey because I might look like one of those guys from the World Bank that flies in and tells the government and the private sector how to operate. But I'm not one of those people. I'm an entrepreneur. Dolma Impact Fund, Dolma Fund Management was, and I think still is, a startup. So let me tell you a bit about my journey. In 2011, I left the world of Singapore investment banking, and I decided to start the first private equity fund for Nepal. And just like Amun said, people said I was crazy. There were lots of people coming through Nepal saying, "We're going to invest, we're going to do it." And we went through hell. I went through hell financially, right? I had just the money in my bank, just my savings. I had to carry a team for 3 years. We did then get some help from DFID, now FCDO, but not all help. They certainly didn't pay all the expenses. And I stood up in the Nepal embassy in London and I gave a speech about how we were launching this new fund. And people did come up to me and say, "Is there a private equity ecosystem in Nepal?" And I said, as Amun said, "Nope, but there will be, and we're going to make one." Now that was 12 years ago. And if you now fast forward, I believe we do have a private equity ecosystem. As you saw, Dolma Impact Fund now manages over $100 million for Nepal alone. And we do have an ecosystem. There were early entries into the private equity market, BO2, True North Associates, Team Ventures, IME, others that have been investing for some time. But recently that market expanded dramatically when Sebon issued new licenses for the new alternative investment funds. And now we're seeing a lot more collaboration in the market. And I have to say that's thanks to the gentleman sitting in front of me, the chairman of Sebon, who, because of his reforms and the speed with which he's processed some of the applications that were sitting on his desk, we now have that ecosystem. The stock exchange reforms enabled Dolma to list its first 2 companies successfully on the Nepal Stock Exchange. And all of this, the easier it is for companies to list on the exchange, the more foreign investment or investment that's going to come in to businesses. So I know he's going to speak after me, but I think we should all be very grateful for his work and his presence here. The world is in an economic downturn. Interest rates are up globally, not just here. Inflation is up. There's terrible problems in the world. I don't see an ounce of that feeling of doom and gloom in this room. I feel the optimism of entrepreneurs. And it's entrepreneurs that think differently. When everybody's telling you that's impossible, how are you going to create an e-commerce industry when hardly anyone's on the internet? How are you going to persuade investors to invest in Nepal when nobody's done it before? But it's just the fact that if nobody's telling you you're crazy, then you've not got a good business model. Because an entrepreneur thinks with the other side of their brain. One side is a spreadsheet of probabilities and statistics. The other side is passion. And it is much more like passion, the reason we start businesses. Why am I here in Nepal? Why am I here in Nepal? Because it's what I want to do, with a deep passion. I want to invest in this country. I want to create jobs. And whatever your chosen passion, you need to let those passions override all those many people that will tell you why you shouldn't do it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in an economic downturn, now is the time to invest in Nepal. In the last 2 months, Dolma has brought into the country, not just pledged or signed, but wired into the country over $20 million in investment in 4 different companies. Most of those are technology companies. If you put that in the context of the foreign direct investment, the total, according to the Minister of Finance, so far this fiscal year is 34 million. So Dolma's responsible for 60% of FDI. Now that sounds great, but I'm not actually saying that to boast about Dolma. It's actually a great shame that the total is so small and that Dolma's share is so large. Nepal, in order to reach its goals of 10% growth of SDG targets, needs billions of dollars in foreign direct investment every year. And that will only happen with the collaboration between reformers like Mr. Hamal in the public sector and, of course, creating great businesses that investors want to invest into. But at Dolma, we are very optimistic, and we're always in awe of the kind of talents like Sastadil, Upaya, Food Mandu, other companies that we have the pleasure to work with. I can also announce tonight, where is Rahul from Upaya? Excellent. I can also announce today that our investment committee has approved another $2 million investment in Upaya, on top of the 1.6 million that has already been received. And they were a winner of this award, one of these awards 2 years ago. So for the winners today, it doesn't automatically mean Dolma will invest in you, but it's a sign of things to come. But ladies and gentlemen, all of these new entrants into the venture capital and private equity market, we're not competitors, not yet anyway. The demand for capital is far bigger. It's billions, really, in Nepal. And I don't mean that just for infrastructure, I mean that for regular companies, tech companies. If Upaya builds out and becomes the revolutionary logistics hub that I know it will become, it's going to need tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And what Nepal needs is scale. It needs collaboration. We co-invest with BO2 in fuse machines. We co-invest with IME and NIBLA's capital in Sastadil. We co-invest with True North Associates and Team Ventures in Food Mandu. That's how the industry is going to get together. Let's share risk and let's get to scale. Because when your companies grow big enough and you want foreign capital, or you may want to merge with a foreign company, unfortunately, they're not going to be interested in a company with $1-2 million of revenue. So we as a country, I say that I'm British, but I feel Nepali, we as a country need to get together with that investment ecosystem and support companies like yourselves. So I'll stop there, and I want to just say one more thing. And Amun mentioned those times of near bankruptcy and he didn't know what to do, and trust me, I've been through them myself with my previous tech startups, which I sold, and indeed with Dolma Impact Fund, when we almost couldn't make it, when we didn't close the fund and I'd spent all my money, and my next shot was to remortgage my house. But you know what? When you're in that situation, there was a friend of mine who is a great entrepreneur in the UK. He now owns Derby County Football Club. And he used to say to me, Tim, leap and the safety net will appear. You just can't see it at the moment. So I want to leave you with that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, leap and the safety net will appear. Thank you.
New Biz Startup Summit and Awards 2023. Nomination from 7 provinces. Connecting with 2,000 plus startup participants. Awards categories more than 4. Powered by Sostodeal.com. Banking partner Lakshmi Bank. General Insurance partner Shikhar Insurance. Technology partner Rigo Technologies. Remittance partner City Express Money Transfer. Driven by Nexon EV Max. Community partner Nepali Patro. Internet partner Dish Home FiberNet. Supported by National Life Insurance, Nepal Rashtra Bank, Citizen Life Insurance, FNCCI, Nepal Insurance Authority, Alpha Plus Ventures. Organized by New Business Age.